Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. 3, 2, 1. Test, test, test. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. 3, 2, 1. Test, test, test. Hi everyone. It looks like we had a little bit of a technical problem there. So the streaming stopped and then actually managed to resume it again, and here we are. That's never happened before. Whenever it's stopped in the past, it's just died forever. So I'm aware that my audio is working and I can see you guys here. So I think that is it. Some people have asked some questions in the WhatsApp channel. If anybody gets a chance, can they help them out with a link to this video? As I can't actually multitask. Right, so just some announcements. So the plan earlier on in the week anyway was that we return to the mansion for the regular meditation classes on Saturday, August the 8th. I assume we'll all have to wear masks. I don't know the actual ins and outs of that. Another possibility is we might be able to sit in the park, but there are different rules, and I think there's like a 6-person limit on that one, so I'm not sure if that's possible. All will be revealed between now and then. I've asked the mansion and they haven't got back to me because very probably they're not sure either. Hi Maxine. I'm also running a focus group at 2 p.m. this coming Friday, August the 7th. All I want to do is ask a handful of people questions about thought. It's for a book I'm writing, so you won't be quoted in any way that would identify you, so everything you say is confidential, but I might use quotations as illustrations of thought in the book. Then the other thing that's happening is, welcome on board, Sharon. The other thing that's happening is I'm starting a series within the 2020 meditation course, and I'm calling it, clickbait title this is, 7 Easy Steps to Mastering Meditation, which will get me full marks from the Internet Clickbait Copywriters Guild, no doubt. And the purpose of it actually is to do what it says. I'll be working in all of the areas where there's most frictionless for people, like sound and the breath and relaxation and connection and things like that. So all will be revealed between now and then, and I'll keep you updated with the progress on the mansion. Today is about the breathing practices. I did a class a while back, and I think I put it on a podcast, or maybe on YouTube as well, called Meditation for Anxiety and Stress, the Relaxation Practices. So it struck me, hi Tracy, it struck me that it would be also a good idea to do another one on the breathing practices, and I'll kind of start them from the basics and work up. There are some breathing practices that what I tend to do is base what I teach on the feedback from my students. So those of you that are regular attendees, you'll be familiar with things like the 4-6 breaths. The reason I teach the 4-6 breaths is because it's accessible, and that focusing on the breath is actually a difficult thing for some people. So I start with the most accessible practices and then add some others. It really is a Chinese menu approach. You know, many items on the Chinese menu. You need to eat your way through it to know what you like and what you don't like. And this is the way it is with all meditation, but with the breathing practices as well. I suggest what you do is you try them out when you're not under stress. And you can also make them a regular practice. And then you need to be able to access it quickly. You don't want to, I'm stressed out, now I have to learn this new thing. You don't want to be there. I'll try that thing that Robert told me because I'm stressed out. You need to practice it often enough for it to work for you, and for you to make it automatic. So you want to be able to just naturally go into it. One of the things that I've discovered personally, I mean, this crisis has been stressful for everybody. Everybody's stressed. Even if you're a person that doesn't actually carry a lot of stress anymore, there's the stress of the people that are around you, and then there's stress related to the events and all sorts of other things. And so one of the things that I've noticed is over this period I have moved over more to breathing. And what I do is I tend to do it. I tend to focus on the out breath to relax. So I become aware that there's stress, usually through tension in the body, and I'll extend my breath to relax. And I only do one breath, but you can do as many as you need to do. So what we'll do is we'll get started on that now. So the areas that the breath operates in meditation, if we're observing the breath, witnessing the breath, then what we're looking for there effectively is a neutral experience. We're not actually, so if you take a practice such as following the breath or even counting the breaths, we're not actively in that process looking at how it affects our physical stress. We're more interested in observing the breath, witnessing it, noticing the rising and falling of the breath, and that enables us to become familiar with the mind. So that's a traditional practice. And then there are practices where we're regulating the breath, modulating the breath, and the root for those is a yogic practice known as pranayama. Prana meaning spirit or breath. The ancients, I believe, universally believed that the spirit and the breath were the same, because when there's no breath, there's no life. So there was this belief that the spirit went out of you with your last breath. So they call pranayama, prana is spirit or breath, and a yama means extend. And we're extending the breath because we want to move the body from stress to relaxation. Because for those of you that haven't heard this before, the body only has two states: the central nervous system, part of it called the autonomous nervous system, which is largely what runs everything in the background, heart rate and all the homeostatic balances. It's only got two states: stress and relaxation. So you can't be, for example, angry and relaxed, which is why when you get angry, your friends come over and say, look, relax. They don't say, don't be angry, because you'll give them a load of reasons why it's okay to be angry. Instead, they'll say, just relax. And if you can do that, then that reduces your anger. It reduces all of the really pushy drives whatever they might happen to be, deep stuff. It's all about the body and 2 billion years of evolution. So just extending the breath, the out breath on its own, without counting or any such thing, actually changes our physiology. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off with two practices. Practice number one is the focusing on the breath, and we'll do a traditional one by noticing the movement of the breath in the belly. And then what we're going to do is we're going to slightly change the focus. We're not going to count the out breaths or any such thing at this point. Just slightly change the focus, and that will, you will notice the difference very probably. So if you just want to get yourselves comfortable, just adjusting your posture is enough to help you relax. And just relaxing, having an open, balanced and relaxed posture is enough to move you out of your stress state. So if you want to get comfortable, feet on the floor, elbows by the side. Vast majority of meditators close their eyes, but you needn't. You can leave your eyes half shut, looking down past the tip of your nose so you don't get distracted by anything that's around you. Your head is balanced wherever it's most comfortable. Your tongue's against the back of your top teeth, gently in contact with the sharp part of the bottom teeth, and you're allowing yourself to become aware of the movement of the breath in the belly. And what you're noticing is the belly rising and falling. It's the movement that we're interested in, not the sensations, just the movement. And to that end, it might benefit you to place your fingers on the belly and you're noticing the movement rising and falling. And we're not looking to achieve anything, not trying to calm the mind, not trying to relax, not trying to reduce our anxiety. There's no trying. All we're doing is noticing the movement. Belly rising, belly falling. So meditating on the breath, there's a bit of Schrodinger's cat in this. You can't notice it without changing it. So just the fact that we're noticing the movement of the belly, noticing the breath, it causes us, even if it's just a tiny, tiny little bit, to unconsciously regulate the breath. And you can discover that by breathing in normally, noticing your shoulders, and when you come to breathe out, just relax your shoulders and allow the body to drop and push the breathing out. You can do that each time. So it's as if we're consciously breathing in and then just switching the relaxation on and relaxing the out breath. And this time what you're noticing the belly rising, and then when you're letting go, relaxing the out breath, you'll notice the shoulders drop. And one of the things you'll notice, if you were, for instance, to fill the lungs completely, pushing the belly right out, when you then switch over to relaxation and let the body push out all of the air, it does it and then it stops. It doesn't choose to breathe in straight away. It waits a little while of its own making. Breathing in, filling the chest, letting go, just click, move over to relaxation, let the shoulders drop. Notice how the weight of the shoulders pushes downward, exhales. And now, just go back to noticing the movement of the belly rising and falling again. So these are the areas where we want to be aware of our stress, because these are the areas where it's most obvious. The shoulders, the eyes and face, the jaw. Your jaw's tight, tongue up against the sharp part of the teeth. Just gently in contact with the sharp part of the teeth. So what we've done, just by focusing, bringing our attention to the out breath, we've identified some of the stress that actually lives in the breath cycle. And so that act of allowing the air to drop out of the lungs moves us over to relaxation. When we go back, it's more frictionless, calmer, more relaxed. Okay, so now we're going to focus on the in-breath and the out-breath in a particular way. And again, we're just noticing what's happening. So this isn't about regulating it. We're just noticing what happens. Just observing the breath. And what we want to be able to do is to, as we breathe in, allow the breath to be smooth. And as we breathe out, allow the breath to be smooth. You may find, for example, that when you breathe in, a lot of the breath is at the beginning, or you may notice that a lot of the breath is at the end. And to make it smooth, the thing to do is to make the breath audible. So depending on where you are, when you breathe in, and when you breathe out, and so that sounds like waves on a beach. And it's got a name. The name is Ujjayi breath, which is, it's either Sanskrit or Pali for ocean. So I'll show you what it looks like here. So here's the time of the breath. And for both the in-breath and the out-breath, we want the breath to be like that. We want the majority of the inhalation and the majority of the exhalation in the center of the breath. And that's the way to do it. That sound that you can create, the sound of the waves on the beach, the reason waves sound like that is because that's exactly what they're doing. The majority of the volume of the wave hits the pebbles right in the middle, and it's a cycle. And stay checking in with your physiology. Whatever tension there is, whatever tightness there is. Try to learn to hook into the out-breath. You know, the way to do that is by noticing the part of the body that's tight as you breathe out. You only have to bring your attention to it. say it's your neck, say you've got a bit of a headache. Notice the neck, breathing in normally, breathing out. Just bring your attention to your neck. So wherever the tension is, that's where you bring your attention as you breathe out. And you can stop there. You don't have to try these regulation practices, breath regulation practices I'm going to teach now. But they're worth a try. And so the first one, this is a thing called tactical breathing. And we're going to do it for a couple of minutes. It is a practice that's used by all sorts of people in high stress environments, military, elite athletes, professionals. And it consists of breathing in for about 4 seconds, breathing out for about 4 seconds. People tend to prefer 4 or 5. I teach 4. And remember the Ujjayi breath movement. You want a nice, smooth in and out breath. Just try practicing that for a couple of minutes. You can bring your attention to the globe, which is set for 4 seconds. And just return to noticing the movement of the belly. Let your mind be free throughout this. This isn't about the mind, it's about the body. Of course, they're deeply connected. And what I'll do now is move this over to the 4-6 breaths, which you'll probably find more frictionless. We'll try a couple of minutes of that. Remember what you're doing, just focusing on the smoothness. You can even make the breath audible to help that process. Out for 6 seconds, in for 4. Out for 6 seconds, in for 4. And at any point you can just bail out and go back to noticing the breath. Okay, so for all of these, a really good way to enable yourself to engage in the practice, if it causes any sorts of problems, the mind pops up and says I'm breathing in too much or breathing in too little, and that causes stress. There's all sorts of things that go on. Is to focus on the smoothness of the breath and focus on the sound of the breath. It's called Ujjayi breath. There are many spellings. I think they often put two J's in it. That means ocean. Okay, so there's another practice that's worth trying. Well, there's another two. This one, what I'm doing is I'm setting it to breathe in for 4 seconds, hold for 4 seconds, breathe out for 4 seconds, and hold for 4 seconds, and then repeat. And so if I was to draw that, there's time in this direction. So breathe in for 4 seconds, hold it for 4 seconds, breathe out for 4 seconds, hold it, in, hold, out, hold, and so on. And because of that, it's called box breaths. And the advice that goes with this, same thing with the in and the out breath. We're looking for smoothness. When we're holding it at the top, it's super relaxed. Because when people first, well, the natural way to hold our breath is we're just about to dive into some water. So what we do, fill our lungs right up, and we kind of clamp on it so that it doesn't get the breath doesn't get knocked out of us when we hit the water. And actually it's none of that. It's we breathe in, and then we're neither breathing in nor breathing out for a while, and then we breathe out, and then we're neither breathing in nor breathing out for a while. So we'll try that. It's 4 seconds in, hold it very relaxed way for 4 seconds, 4 seconds out, very relaxed way. There we go, and just go back to breathing normally. If at any point you get lightheaded, just go back to breathing normally. No meditation should ever be in any way an endurance activity. Yeah, you can make it like that if you want, but there is no real benefit to it because we're becoming familiar with the mind, and so, having 24-hour meditations in caves in sub-zero temperatures on the Tibetan plateau doesn't actually help you to understand your mind any better than if you're sitting in a comfortable room in a city. So there's no point ever with any meditation practice grinding through it because it's difficult. Because like I said, it's a Chinese menu. If this doesn't work, another one will. Okay, so what we're going to do now is a thing called the 4-7-8 breaths. And they are what they say on the tin. We breathe in for 4 seconds, hold it for 7 seconds. Remember, we're not clamping on the breath, we're just relax, 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 relax. And if you find it difficult breathing out, over 8 seconds, extend the breath by making it audible. You can either make it an ocean breath, or if that's difficult, snake breath. You can extend your breath as long as you wish like that. So that's in for 4. Remember, you're not trying to fill your lungs. Hold it for 7 and out for 8. And we'll just do 3 of those. Remember, any lightheadedness or any such thing, just go back to noticing the movement of the belly. Okay. So now just bring your attention to the movement of the belly. Check in with your body. Notice if your stress has arisen anywhere, any part of the body. Back and sides of the neck, shoulders, the jaw, the face. And you're noticing it as you breathe out. And it will naturally drift out. Whatever tension there is will naturally drift out. And then whenever you're ready, in your very own time, gently return your attention to your surroundings. Okay, so if you enjoyed it and you're not on one of the courses, and you fancy donating, there's a link down there. Donate any amount you want. So here's the reminders, is that back to the mansion on August the 8th, all things going well. And if you're interested on the focus group on thought, let me know. You can let me know now, but you'll have to make sure that I get back to you with a yes, or send me a message, email or WhatsApp or whatever, and say you'd like to be in on it. I just need another 3 people, I think. And that's 2 p.m. Friday, August the 7th. And I'll just ask you a lot of impertinent questions about thought. And starting next Saturday, 7 easy steps to mastering meditation. So in any of these practices, you find the ones that work for you, and then you practice it when you're calm and relaxed and at home. It becomes part of you. When things become difficult, if it's stressy, then you can you have it to hand. Okay, you're welcome, Sharon. Glad you made it. And yeah, and so, comment either now or in the future. You can always add comments to this, I believe, about how it works for you or otherwise. Okay, so that's it for today. Thanks very much, everybody. Have a great week. Catch up with you all next Sunday, and the course members at the various course classes, and maybe next Saturday we might actually be broadcasting from the mansion. Who knows? Yeah, I'm looking forward to meeting up with everybody. Really am. Okay, thanks, Jill, Sharon. Take care. Good night.